Welcome back to my viewers again. Hi, Raj. Thanks for setting
Hey,
up some time from your schedule to sort of celebrate Ravichandran Ashwin's career. Okay, that is what. See, people might think this video is probably a bit late, considering people want to be rushing towards putting up their videos, tribute videos for Ashwin. I really wanted first his retirement to sink in because I was thinking him and Nathan Lyon is going, head to head in
they're
terms of who
connected.
is
Yeah.
going to lead it, and suddenly this announcement. But then people have gone ahead and registered their views as a tribute. I thought I will just collect all my thoughts and points, and want to really dedicate this one to the legend. There are important connections for me personally. I come from that state, and looking at him grow, I'll just give a brief backdrop about my early cricketing starting days. I used to actually get training in academy called Young Men's Christian Association (YMCA). I have seen Ashwin flesh and blood as a youngster coming in, and we both had the same coaches. See, he might recollect when I go and saw probably meet him in person to tell all these views. So the connect is very very personal in terms of understanding this person, from what background he comes in, how he fought all the odds. There are a lot of things. So I really wanted to be a very, very dedicated effort in terms of my tribute. And who better than to also you, Raj? We have discussed enough about Ravichandran Ashwin as a cricketer, as a leader, how he emerged. And, I think we both can really give it a good tribute, and that's why I pulled you in. Thanks for that, Raj.
Sure, sure. Look, firstly, the
Yeah,
caption you have used for today's episode, it kind of underlines everything
yeah,
you and I or anyone can really express about Ravichandran Ashwin as a leader in the field of cricket.
yeah,
I think very early on, I think you and I have been talking cricket for about close to 5+ years now, six into the sixth year.
yeah.
And way back, maybe in one of our early chats, I may have expressed
You
that
expressed the same lines, Raj. The best captain India never had.
never
I
had.
sort of actually, flicked it from you.
And at that stage, I think Kohli was captain, so it was like looking like
Yeah,
he would remain captain till his retirement, and it wasn't to be. So
yeah.
The Indian Cricket Board and the people who appoint captains have missed a trick twice now. Yeah.
Got it. So let me just head into the first point, right? His rise to stardom through IPL. Yeah, see, this whole video, I'm not going to bore people with statistics or the
Yeah,
numbers and all that. It's about the celebration of the guy itself. So he had a knack of picking all the top-notch wickets from the opposition, and IPL was a perfect platform. And we have talked enough about how it could be a flip side for some really upcoming careers. With respect to Ravichandran Ashwin, IPL was a perfect platform to sort of announce to the world that I'm ready for international cricket. What is your take on that?
yeah. Look, IPL has proven to be, I think, since its inception, virtually in
Yeah,
2008, has been the kind of launching pad
yeah.
for Indian cricket. But in real terms, you know, I think there was one Champions Trophy India's won,
Yeah.
and two 2020 T20 World Cups.
Funny
Um,
you say that Champions Trophy in this list because it was a 50 over match reduced to a 20 over match. And,
yeah, yeah,
IPL had a connection where Ravichandran Ashwin's skill sets turned out to be the differentiating factor. Please continue, Raj.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Though I think the first T20 World Cup preceded the
Yeah.
yeah, and we did win the 2011 World Cup. So IPL has
Yeah.
been, it's a huge money spinner. I think of most recent, what I learned that it is worth about 16 billion US dollars.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
However, I think IPL's use by date
Mm.
has long gone. That's my view. Though there
Yeah.
are successive generations of players, the way Indian batting, especially the
Yeah.
bowling, has benefited. You know, the pace bowling stocks are good.
Yeah.
When they pick the right team, they pick the right side. The pace bowling stocks have done well because bowlers have had to be very creative. We would not
Yeah.
have a Jasprit Bumrah without the IPL.
Yeah. How about R Ashwin's creative aspects from those IPL?
Of course, same thing applies to Ashwin, who's our main topic today,
Yeah.
because he's had to be, as you know, cricket is becoming more a batsman's
Yeah.
game, and if basically the challenge for cricket is that if it's a batting track and there are three centurions in a side, uh,
Mm-hmm.
people will say, "Oh, it's a road." And if it's a bowling track and 15 wickets fall in a day, people will say, "Oh, it's a dust bowl." So, in Indian
Yeah.
pitches have been described as either a road or a dust bowl, depending on whether the touring side is doing well or not.
Yeah.
So, yeah, from a spinner's perspective, I think though the IPL,
Mm.
with its sometimes with its smaller boundaries,
Yeah.
it can't do justice to the life of a spinner, but
Very valid point.
it's a good arena to pick, like talent.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. So
like
talking about from that angle, what you mentioned, the smaller grounds, and you need to sort of deliver six different balls. Our Ashwin was a very, very fast learner, right? He had his normal off spinners. He quickly learnt the doosras, the top
yeah,
spinners, and bowled some seam up, one finger seam up deliveries to also sort of keep the batsman guessing. And some of his top pick wickets was Chris Gale during that time, and he used to
yeah,
always
yeah.
go for those big wickets. And
He
yeah,
did, but
so
if you ask me what
mm,
was a major factor in his rise, was
yeah,
to ask me who was the captain of his IPL side.
I will come to that point. And you nicely led it up to the next topic there. So, although I mentioned the home advantage factor here, but then there are two important things which we definitely have to speak about R. Ashwin, which also we cannot miss out. MS Dhoni did use him brilliantly,
Yeah,
and the world knows R. Ashwin and Ravindra Jadeja's partnership in Indian conditions. I think that was a great run, right? Whichever team had visited Indian conditions and played test match in tough conditions, these two spinners ruled the roast.
yeah,
Let's talk about that particular partnership and also MS Dhoni factor. What's your
yeah.
take?
Look, again, all the people who are cricket lovers, cricket followers, I would
Yeah,
say, admirers of R. Ashwin will know his record, especially
correct.
playing, on Indian tracks where he was probably one of the best we've had.
Yeah,
And I say that because he did not have the longevity or the amount of test matches that Anil Kumble, for example, managed to play. Because I
correct.
think if he played the same number of test matches and bowled in the same number of innings and overs, I think Ashwin would far outbowl even Anil Kumble.
Yeah,
Um, so I think yes, a major contributor to the rise of Indian cricket dominance,
hmm.
test dominance. India's always had that test dominance because it's not easy for touring sides.
Yeah,
And I think many times you and I have discussed about how even a great Australian side or a great English side, if you can call them great in the current context, they
yeah,
struggle when they come and play out in India. And Australia and England have only won,
yeah,
very like, three match test series, 2-1, in India.
yeah.
So
Arguably the sorry, just to add one point there, arguably the best all rounder that is going on in modern cricket. In terms of Test cricket, also, if you see, Ben Stokes' name comes up. I
Yeah,
think 12 or 13 times Ashwin has picked up
yeah,
Ben
yeah,
Stokes. He went for Alistair Cook's wicket as the premier one. Kane Williamson did not have any answers against R. Ashwin. Joe Root, you name top people,
yeah.
top batters who want to set up the test match in Indian conditions. R. Ashwin was a big stopper for them, right?
Yeah, he was a basically he's a thinking cricketer.
Yeah.
So the best way to describe him as I think I don't know how much Indian cricket will miss him as a result of his sudden,
Mm.
decision to depart from the game.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's what stands out, and I think another cricketer I really
Mm.
admire who is known globally for his thinking prowess is Rahul Dravid. And if Rahul Dravid calls R. Ashwin a thinking man's cricketer, that's the ultimate compliment one can, receive or get. So I
Yeah.
think there's all sorts of words that can be said, but I
Yeah.
think I value Rahul Dravid's views, and if he says R. Ashwin is a brilliant, strategist, cricket strategist, he is. And
What did MS Dhoni as a captain observe in Ravichandran Ashwin, which probably other captains did not see? Because Ashwin was pretty much doing it on his own, developing the skills and
yeah,
then taking them. But MS Dhoni spotted something. What
I
what
think
what is? Yeah,
probably the Chennai connection, having spent time very close
that's
quarters
a
with a
start.
young
Yeah,
Ashwin, that
yeah,
benefited Ashwin, and that Dhoni sort of, you can say, mentorship or sponsorship.
yeah.
Um, the other thing is what Dhoni would have seen in Ashwin was what everybody can see is that
Hmm.
Ravichandran Ashwin is one of the fiercest competitors on a cricket field.
Yeah.
Um, he was not the person who will go and talk to batsmen, or he would not glare at his fielders. He would quickly start thinking about the next delivery he needs
Hmm.
um, to make. If somebody tonks him for a six, I
Yeah.
think he would probably I think it's like that movie The Matrix. He'll start
Yeah.
making mental notes of what's going to happen and how is he going to deliver the next ball, basically.
So and
um,
MS Dhoni spotted that aspect.
I would imagine so, because
Okay.
if I can
Yeah.
spot that on a television screen, I'm sure a person,
MS Dhoni would have spotted.
standing about 23 yards from where Ashwin is delivering.
Ashwin delivered. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm adding a yard behind the
Good one, good one.
behind
So
the batsman.
let's talk about Ashwin and Jadeja partnership. I mean, when I say partnership, there are three different aspects. The partnership of their bowling when they bowled in tandem to pick wickets, and the partnership batting partnerships, which several times it
Yeah,
saved India Test matches in
yeah.
subcontinent conditions. And the third important partnership, very matured sense of partnership, when one person is playing, the other person is supporting, and they both were not fighting with each other for their places. Let's talk about those three aspects.
Yeah, look, I think historically, if you see, India's had the magic of having four spinners, and after the customary opening two overs from medium paces,
Yeah,
Bedi and Prasanna and Chandrasekhar would, and Venkatragan would come on and spin the oppositions out of the match, uh,
yeah.
at least in Indian conditions, and many times even overseas. So I
Mm,
think India has been blessed with spinners, uh,
mm,
though the Ashwin and Jadeja, the level, the stature they received over
mm.
time to the exposure. I
Yeah.
will. I'm finding it very hard to see what India's spinning stocks look like. I
Mm,
think India's pace bowling, medium pace to express pace stocks are much healthier than the
Yeah,
spinning stocks, and that's probably because of the evolution of the game. It's become a batter's game, and I think
so true.
nobody really wants to turn up and go for 7, 8 runs and over, 10 runs and over if you're a
Yeah,
spinner.
yeah,
And yeah, you need patience for being in that art form requires a lot of patience, a lot of
yeah.
thinking, and you can
Very,
see
very.
clearly the difference in the other leading spinner in the world right now. Nathan
Yeah,
Lyon operates typically on his own with a quartet of
that's
pacers.
the point. That's the point.
Yeah,
See, when two spinners are spinning a web around you, they bowled really well in tandem. I mean, we
yeah,
have always talked about Ravindra Jadeja's accuracy. It was like a McGrath fast bowling type accuracy. I have repeated
yeah,
this in my channel several times now. I'm cautious of that. But when he does that, obviously this other end, people would take chances with Ashwin, and he was purchasing wickets, and it was the other way also. It was a
yeah.
tremendous partnership. I mean, one to be cherished for Indian cricket for a long time.
Yeah, the
Ravindra Jadeja would
pressure,
miss him for sure.
absolutely,
Yeah,
the pressure they were able to exert together was tremendous.
yeah,
However, for while I say that, I
yeah,
think, uh, do we have a spinning duo? Because there's a lot of talk about that it's the end of the line for Jadeja as
yeah,
well.
yeah,
Um, he may play the series in England because he's got tremendous experience and he's got a good record,
yeah,
um, as an all-rounder in England, and he was the preferred spinner in England
yeah.
for whatever
Some of
reason.
these, just want to divert both of our attentions to some comments posted by a few people here. Mani Murugan is asking your thoughts on might be Ashanna play Tamil Nadu domestic circuit. Obviously, he is going to take it up more, and then he
I
is already sort
sincerely
of
hope
announced.
so.
Yeah, yeah, no, he has
Yeah, I
sort of
sincerely
announced
hope
it.
so.
There was an interview, Raj, when he came back. People were actually at his doorstep welcoming the legend. At that time, he said, "Don't be surprised if I'm going to extend my career and play a lot of other franchisee leagues and T20 leagues all around." So, see, the same person is also mentioning about we want him to lead the side until he is retired from all forms of cricket. This is something which is very common, Raj. Everyone has seen his leadership traits, his captaincy traits, and followed by one more comment. Tamil Nadu have lots of talents, but lack of coordination is missing. They have lost in last year Ranji final. See, these are some things which Ashwin himself has actually taken it up to sort of educate people uh,
Yeah.
through his social media presence. That's the next topic, and
Yeah,
thanks
so
to
some
that
great,
person's comment.
yeah, so
Yeah,
from great observations from Mani Murugan.
yeah,
Again, it shows you the passion of the people
yeah,
for the game, the admiration for Ashwin as a cricketer, as a leader, and dare I say, as a great human being.
for sure.
Because yeah, yeah, even his most recent appearance at one of the universities where he went and spoke, I thought was really fitting of the kind of person
Yeah,
Ravichandran Ashwin is. He's bold. He is not mincing his words, and he
yeah.
doesn't have an agenda. Like, he doesn't have any hidden agenda. He's just being himself.
What is the important aspect that came out during that COVID times, right? He sort of really double up or triple up his social media presence and took
Yeah,
an effort to sort of connect with so many people from cricketing fraternity. And the amount of respect this guy had on exterior cricketers, it was overflowing in front of all of us when we watched those videos. That is something amazing. And so thankful to the people who have played very, very, very small and tiny roles in his cricketing career. A small tip received from his fellow mate or a senior like Sadagopan Ramesh or Lakshmipati Balaji, Subramanyam Badrinath, how they have all been a significant part in his career to improve his
yeah,
cricket. Amazing, amazing. So this is something I want you to specifically touch on this part, okay? Since you are doing all this career coaching and related COVID was a very, very dark times for everybody, Raj. It was
Yeah,
such a negative phase, right? People might not know what is the future ahead. And here is a guy who is fighting that with his brilliant social media presence and taking it
yeah.
to the next level. What does it talk about, R. Ashwin?
He's making himself available in like a dark hour for people,
Yeah,
which is always going to be engaging, giving people hope. So what I call that
yeah,
being available for others is
yeah.
a key quality of emotional intelligence and a key
Mm,
leadership quality. So he
mm,
demonstrated that. So when I was talking about Ashwin being the best captain India never had, it was never to do with his cricketing ability only.
yeah,
It was largely to do with his ability to speak his mind, be very clear about what he's saying, give very clear instructions to his, or even receive very clear instructions from his captain, but give very clear
yeah.
instructions as to how he wanted everything set up. But also, ultimately, he never gave up. So, one thing about
Mm,
Ashwin was that, yes, of course, whenever India would lose, you feel everyone drop their body language. But if there was a chance, if he could smell the victory, you could see him. His body language was
very good.
always. And I think the Test match in Sydney, where he batted his, like we recently saw, a
Yeah,
Pant getting hit about 11 times. I lost count of how many times he and Hanuma
Hanuma
Vihari got
Vihari.
hit
Yeah, yeah,
with very aggressive Australian, close in field settings. Compared to how this time both at the MCG, and how the Indian side totally crumbled when they clearly could forget about winning that MCG Test match recently. They
got it.
they could have easily won it. They ended up losing it badly probably after
Mhm.
Pant's, sadly
Yeah.
his brain rush. So yeah, Ashwin would not have a brain rush, which was
Yeah,
again on display when India beat Pakistan and he came in, in the
yeah.
T20 World Cup at the MCG. I think it was
Oh,
2 years ago.
the
Yeah, so he
great
was.
lead.
Yeah, yeah. It shows him remaining cool and calm.
Yeah,
Uh, I even support against all the purists, cricket purists, his idea
yeah.
of using what has now become the munkering or the run out at the
He
non-strikers end.
wants everybody to stay clear of that too. Don't use the word monkey because it puts down a
Yeah, yeah.
person's name. To that
It,
extent
it, it
important.
it does, but Munkard then that will becomes immortal. Like if people go and look at Vinu Munkard's record, they'll know what a great cricketer he was.
Very
Uh,
point, very valid
yeah,
point that we are registering this in our channel when we speak about R. Ashwin. Glad you brought that up. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. I agree that we should not desecrate Munkard's memory by just remembering him for
yeah,
his, his insistence on. And I think it's a fair thing, and I think every
yeah.
cricketer out there now knows that
Mm,
yeah, you can't simply take those advantages. So I
yeah,
think Ashwin is a strategist par excellence, and
yeah.
if he served Tamil Nadu cricket in general in India, it would be a fantastic outcome for everyone.
Awesome. Let's talk about him giving back to the game of cricket. The first point I want to mention here is he started explaining to I think it was Sky Sports channel, one of the videos where he explained the art of off spin, the undercutters, the top spin, sometimes even dusra. And also the relevant aspect of how he sort of builds it up in terms of deliveries against the particular batsman. He was explaining so much. If people only have watched it, but then they would have learned and to counter him.
Yeah,
But he was least bothered about it. Still, he would bring something new into the art. That is the self confidence which he carried. That is
yeah, yeah.
one part to it. But then, how about him educating the art of off spin to the world of cricket in a very, very different level?
I think the best way to describe that would be how Nathan Lyon, who's now
Yeah.
just behind Ashwin's numbers. The way he
Yeah.
speaks about Ravichandran Ashwin and the camaraderie they share, how they speak about
Yeah.
off spin bowling or spin bowling to each other. That
Yeah.
just shows how both Ashwin is a key link to that
Yeah.
art. Uh,
Correct.
and when it comes to cricket, we can't be simply biased and saying, "Oh, the cricket is all about the Indian,
Hmm.
team or the boys in blue, the men in blue, and all that." I think that's rubbish. I think cricket is something to be really greatly admired. And when you
Yeah.
see somebody bowling well, like Nathan Lyon, and somebody bowling well, like R. Ashwin, you can equally admire both. And
Correct.
I think Nathan Lyon is the closest the world has to
Hmm.
R. Ashwin now. He has to
Yeah.
carry on with that legacy and hopefully keep going till he goes past at least Shane Warne's record,
Yeah.
if not Murali's record.
Hmm.
There's a lot of wickets to be had.
It would have been a big surprise for Nathan Lyon also to see R. Ashwin calling it a day sooner than later. Uh,
Only
because
if only if
it
Nathan
so
Lyon doesn't
happened.
know. Only if Nathan Lyon doesn't know much about Indian cricket.
Yeah, yeah, true.
Yeah.
So here is where I want your perspectives about. I mean, you are the best person to speak about this particular topic here,
Yeah.
um, because see, I'm going to take this as an important point of view because R. Ashwin wanted to always perform his best against Australia. It has
Yeah.
been well registered. The way he prepares physically and mentally for that is something which he has documented it. He has told the world cricket followers what exactly he is mentally thinking. One aspect is the only one leader who clearly understood about that is Ajinkya Rahane. At least that's what everybody saw it. Maybe to a certain extent, Virat Kohli. Not sure about it. But then Indian diaspora in Australia, what do they think about that particular series victory? Ashwin stepping up as a leader. Give me all those perspectives, Raj.
I think it depends totally on who you're talking to. People who have played cricket or understand cricket or are like good observers of cricket. Nobody
Yeah,
can deny. Nobody will deny Ashwin's greatness.
yeah,
He was definitely being underrated, sadly, by the team establishment. The amount of cricket he did not play in those sort
yeah,
of yeah in the years I've watched him play. I think he played
yeah,
for almost more than 10 years. The
correct.
amount of cricket he missed out on, the amount of test cricket, I mean,
Yeah,
was quite astounding for a person of his capability.
so true.
So I think what the Indian diaspora, especially here in Australia, would think about Ashwin depends on who you're talking to. But
Hmm.
for me, he's such a loss uh,
Yeah,
the from the test side, and he's such a
yeah.
loss from the dressing room that I hope we are able to see him back in action as India's
Mm.
spinning coach, bowling coach. I don't know what form he will play a role in the future, but I'm not
Yeah,
sure about his coaching credentials with yet. But let's see how he plays out his retirement from cricket and the next
yeah.
4 to 5 years, because it would be silly not to utilize a great
Obvious.
cricketing brain, like
Yeah. So, what does a dressing room atmosphere would miss in terms of R. Ashwin's absence?
uh, a dressing room is like uh, you know it can be compared to so many things. It's like
Yeah.
a machine that's functioning well, where
Mhm.
everybody has a part to play. You can't go missing, so I think
Yeah.
when India is playing well, when India won at the
Yeah.
Border Gavaskar Trophy or retained the Border Gavaskar Trophy the last time, Ashwin played a key role, even though he was missing in the Brisbane Test.
Playing 11. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Even though I think like I think somebody, I think maybe it was Ashwin's wife who mentioned that he was crawling out of bed, his back was so
Right.
gone.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
tough
So I
time.
think that fighting spirit is what I think
Hmm.
was his one of his key traits.
So it sort of rubs off to every youngster in the team that they want to do something out of the ordinary, right? That's the message they get to by
Yeah, yeah,
having such a person inside the dressing room. And
yeah.
another
Uh,
aspect which I see
yeah.
is if sorry, Raj, you finish your point and then I'll come to
I was
this.
gonna say everyone except Pant, because even Ashwin in his interview at the Brisbane ground said, "We don't know what Pant is going to do."
Very valid point.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, see, he was the first person to always acknowledge the some of the little contributions which was made by the youngsters or even a person carrying water or drinks. I remember his little kutti stories where he kept on mentioning about Shardul Thakur bringing a message and then looking at their faces, not even leave a message, but then, okay, you both continue. Those are all really, little contributions that happens in the bigger game of cricket, where he is the person who's acknowledged all those little efforts. So that way, he grows in the eyes of everybody inside that team atmosphere and
I
becomes
think
obviously the leader to look up to, right? Yeah.
absolutely, and some things which will never be forgotten by me is
Yeah.
Ashwin's comeback to Tim Payne, who said, "Can't wait to see
Meet
you,
you at
meet you at the Gabba, or meet you in Brisbane," and then Ashwin saying, "Well, can't wait to have you in India," which never happened because Tim Payne had to resign or resigned after that. But yeah, I think
sort of
his
futuristic vision. He knows that is not going to happen. And at that time, to come up with
yeah.
that reply is
So I
brilliant.
think his presence of mind. I think see we talk about
Yeah.
leadership traits of many kind, but one of the leadership traits would be his ability to think on his feet.
Yeah.
Because I don't think Hanuma Vihari could pull off the
Mm.
fight back on his own with any other batsman. Um,
Great point.
I don't think Ashwin could have pulled it off without any other batsman other than Vihari, because Vihari was injured. He knew he was out of the Border Gavaskar
So true.
Trophy,
Yeah.
and sadly he's now out of the Indian cricket selection selectors site as well. Don't know what.
Pure cricketer who prioritized Test cricket again. That's a separate topic of
Yeah,
discussion
yeah.
altogether. But yeah, let's stick to Ashwin.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I just hope that someone like this Nitish Reddy doesn't go down that path. But yeah, going back to Ashwin, I think the leadership traits he exhibited totally included a lot of humility.
Yeah.
He knew how to win, but
Yeah.
Ashwin also knew when he lost, he was never bitter. He
Correct.
acknowledged the opposition whenever he was spoken to,
Yeah.
and all these broadcasters used to love interviewing R. Ashwin because
That
of
is
his
going to continue.
ability. Yeah, because of his ability to articulate himself. I think the
Yeah.
most least articulate I've seen him, sadly,
Mm.
was when he was talking about his retirement following sitting on the dais
Very
with
well.
Rohit Sharma. I've
Yeah.
seen some of his uh, YouTube episodes. I've seen some of them. I
Yeah.
just hope he takes it at a more polished and professional level,
Yeah. Yeah.
uh, which may include further media training. I would love to see him being a commentator at the
Yeah.
next Border Gavaskar Trophy, for example.
For sure.
And I think he would be a great observer.
Yeah.
And I hope he plays all those roles. I
Yeah.
probably don't want him out of my life. You see, I've been saying he should be a coach. He should be playing for Tamil Nadu. He should be in the Indian dressing room, in the
Yeah.
commentators. Yeah, yeah. He should just be around.
He's a true legend of the game of cricket. Let's put
Yeah,
it simply. Okay.
yeah. And as far as cricket is concerned, you can never tire of a person like Ashwin. Mainly
Yeah.
because he
So
was
true.
such a fighting spirit. He's got that spirit. And cricket is a
Yeah,
game of spirit. Yeah,
yeah.
I don't
So
like mean spirited cricketers, and he was
mm,
never a mean spirited cricket. He was always a good sports person.
yeah, there were a couple of interviews which he gave post his retirement. One was for Sky Sports, which is Nasser Hussain and Mike Atherton, and then one he did it in Tamil channel also. It was a 1 hour interview. That guy gave a lot of perspective about himself, how he looked at the whole scheme of things built around it. He's very, very, very thankful to his parents and family. That's the core fulcrum of um being the person he is coming out, and then, but then the discussions were so uh, good for everyone to sort of observe and take a cue out of it, because he talked about life, he talked about spirituality, and he also mentioned something about the hero worship culture, right, which is followed in India. He said it that I don't want anybody to celebrate me. Let them be so busy in their lives that they look up to something.
He's in
But
the wrong state.
those are all the aspects that inspire people, right? So
No, what I meant is
amazing guy.
he's from Tamil Nadu. Somebody will build him a temple very soon.
Possible.
He's in the wrong state for not being worshipped.
For sure, for sure. But thanks again, Raj. I think we really made it a very, very structured one, and I'm so glad that this is the way the guy has to be celebrated, because it's not
Yeah,
about statistics. It's not about what R Ashwin brought inside the cricket field. There are
yeah,
so many aspects of him which sort of
yeah,
elevated him up and up, and
yeah.
I
The
think we
look,
have done a decent part in
yeah, yeah. Look,
documenting this.
probably what I would love to finally say is that one of the sports people I
Yeah,
have admired and grown up admiring, even though he was well retired by the time I was watching sports, was in boxing, Muhammad Ali.
mm,
Now, boxing and cricket are far from each other. Boxing is a
yeah,
contact sport, and cricket is becoming a contact sport.
correct.
But yeah, but if you see the life of Muhammad Ali and how he had to fight the establishment, he was always this underdog. People didn't like him for saying, people didn't like him for speaking out his mind. I think
Yeah,
Ashwin has that fighting competitive spirit of Muhammad Ali, which is like the
nice.
highest honor I can give him, is to say that just like when Muhammad Ali was given this uh, option of continuing to box, or he has to give up boxing because he fought against the or he spoke up against the war in Vietnam. I
Yeah,
think Ashwin is equally brave, and I hope he will continue to be like that.
yeah,
So yeah, I'm equating him with what some people call the greatest sports person ever to live.
yeah.
So that's how highly I think of him.
Yeah, see, as we speak, he has already released a couple of videos. And, I also posted a comment mentioning it's Ashwin 2.0, because
Yeah,
he's already talked to a CEO of New Zealand Cricket who's taking up some franchisee T20 sporting event arrangements, event management, or whatever you call it. So his network is building ever beyond what he has in store. He is obviously communicating to the people who are interested in following him. He is really taking it up a notch, and setting up real high benchmarks, because he wants to keep giving back to the game of cricket, and that's where we can stop. And yeah, for now, we have celebrated the guy in the right way. So he's a true
perfect.
legend, the best captain India never had.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Raj.
Thank you.